Hey guys, it's Margaret from Let's Learn to Sew, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how to clean and oil your serger. What you're going to need is your serger. If you have your owner's guide, you may find that useful. You'll need the screwdrivers for removing the needles. You'll need a pair of scissors or some snips to cut your thread because it is best to go ahead and unthread it. You're going to need the little brush that came with your serger, or if you have some stiff paint brushes that have never been used on anything, those work great. Some Q-tips if you have some handy. You're going to need a lightweight oil that is blended for sewing machines and sergers. And then it's not necessary, but it is very helpful if you have a vacuum attachment kit. This one is made for cleaning computers, sewing machines, and other small types of appliances that need to be vacuumed out. And then you'll also need your vacuum. So the first thing we want to do is to remove our threads. You can do that by clipping them. Okay, so we're going to clip the threads. I'm going to go ahead and remove the cones. I'm going to remove my cone holders because we want to make sure that we clean this area back here also. So now we need to remove these threads. So you want to make sure your tension discs are open. For most machines, that means raising your presser foot. Hold all 3 threads and just pull them to the back of the machine. If it doesn't come out right away, just turn your hand wheel a little bit. It may be that you've still got a stitch on that stitch finger. You don't want to jerk or pull because you could damage the stitch finger that's under there. For cleaning the outside of your machine, the best thing to use is just some window cleaner and a cloth that doesn't have a lot of lint. Now you don't want to directly spray the machine. You want to spray the cloth lightly and then wipe it. So let's talk about this tension disc area. As your thread comes down and through those tension discs, the speed that it's moving at, it's going to deposit little bits of lint inside those tension disc area. One easy way to remove it is to take the edge of a cloth. You can use a paper towel also. Just kind of rub in there. You can probably see there's a little bit on there. Move down to another section. You can also use a paper towel for this, like I said. You want to do all 4 of your tension disc. Okay, so now we're on the inside of the serger, and as you can see, there is a lot of buildup in here. Right here is that cutting knife. I'll go ahead and turn this, and you can see it goes up and down, and as it cuts the fabric, little bits of lint are coming off, and since these parts are lubricated, that oil kind of works as a magnet and pulls the lint onto the surfaces and it just kind of sticks there. The lint also gets deposited from your thread as it moves through the eyes of the different loopers and the needles. So what we want to do is to keep our serger working well and lasting longer. We're going to make sure that we remove these deposits frequently. And one of the things I see in a lot of the groups is people asking, how often do you clean your serger or your sewing machine? Most owner's manuals, if you look in them, suggest that you clean them out after every project. The more frequently you clean your serger, the quicker and easier it's going to be. The longer your serger is also going to last. So the best practice is to wipe the areas, loosen that lint, and then vacuum it out. It's just the brush that came with either my serger or my sewing machine. If you don't have one, you can also use just a stiff, this is really stiff, craft brush, paintbrush. What we're going to do is we're just going to keep brushing all the areas, turning the hand wheel if necessary. We're just loosening this lint to make it easier to suction out with the vacuum cleaner. Now that we've loosened the majority of the lint, I'm going to go ahead and hook up my vacuum cleaner attachment and get all of this sucked out. I'm going to start off with just this open piece here. attached to the hose. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, suck this out. I'm going to mute it so you guys don't have to listen to the sound of my vacuum cleaner. Okay, so when it comes to this crevice tool here, I like to stick it way down under and kind of to the back because there's an opening there, and over time, you know, if you don't get all the lint out frequently, it's going to kind of push back. If you have a lot of buildup back there, you're going to kind of hear it sucking. When that stops, kind of just move it a little bit more, keep going, and then once you don't hear any type of sucking from that area for, you know, a few seconds, then you can go ahead and move to another area. I'm going to take a quick look at the knife, make sure there's no nicks or anything on it. There shouldn't be. As long as you haven't hit any pins, you should be good, and your blade will really last several years at least. Now let's go ahead and move on to oiling the Serger. Serger has a lot of moving parts, and those parts need to be lubricated. It's just like the oil that you put into your car. It's going to prevent breakdown. It's going to make things run smoother. And that's when it comes to our Serger, we definitely want things to go as smooth as possible. You want to make sure that you use a lightweight lubricant. This one has a handy straw-like piece that makes it nice for getting in those back areas. And where we want to lubricate is any place that we see moving parts. You want to refer to your owner's manual just to be sure. So I went and grabbed a flashlight to try to make this a little bit easier for you guys to see. There's an area here, and let me go ahead and turn the hand wheel so you guys can see it. You see it moves back and forth, so we want to make sure we get some oil in there. Again, we're going to turn that hand wheel, and that's just going to work that oil in. Back in this under section, let me see if I can turn it for you. Back in this under section is a moving area. That's why this bottle is nice with the telescoping piece. We're going to put a little bit in there. Again, turning the hand wheel to work it in. And you just want to look around on your Serger. See if you see any other parts that move. Always check your owner's manual also in case it has places that it suggests. Oiling your Serger, again, is going to be one of the biggest things you can do to keep your Serger running smoothly. So on the frequency of oiling, I usually oil my Serger every time I clean it because, you know, when we go and we take something like a Q-tip or anything else and we remove all of that lint, well, that lint has been in there absorbing the oil, but we're also wiping, and a lot of times we remove oil from the area. Okay, so now that we've got everything cleaned up and oiled, it's time to put in some fresh needles and get your machine threaded up. Before I close out this video though, I did want to mention, if you're not in the habit of cleaning and oiling your Serger, try to get into the habit. It really is one of the easiest things that you can do to prolong the life of your Serger and to ensure that while you're using it, it's stress-free. If you are ever using your Serger and you hear a scraping sound, a clanking sound, anything like that, you want to stop, turn off your Serger, unplug it, and inspect it. If in any way anything looks dried out, even if you've oiled it recently, go ahead and re-oil it. Take a small couple of stitches. If you still hear the sound, stop. That's when it's time to go ahead, take it in and get your machine serviced by a professional.